Hi everybody, so I want to talk to you about taking the NLN microbiology exam. So what that exam is, it's a National League of Nursing microbiology exam that was put together for a student that wants to apply to nursing school but has taken microbiology in the past, but it's been more than 5 years and they need to retake it. So it's really an exam that tests your knowledge of the content. I searched for some guidance or some help and I found none, so this is why I'm making the video. So let me get straight to it. First, about what I used to study. So the book that I use is this book here. So it's a really good review book, and the best part about it, it's an easy read. The content within it is very easy to understand. It's very easy to recall from your memory. Things that maybe you forgot, they have it all. Very good diagrams about all the key concepts. So it's really easy for you to go through and see. Pay attention to the tables and diagrams because they really are resourceful. There's also, at the end of each chapter, so this one I wrote in pretty heavily. There's also a section for you to answer like essay type questions and like this, and then there's another section for you to answer multiple choice questions, and the answers are right after the test. So for this exam, you need the whole book because it gives you general information. So like about bacterial cell walls, the difference between a prokaryote and eukaryote, the difference between a fungi, a yeast, or a yeast is a fungi, sorry, but a yeast, a bacteria, a mold, and a virus, sorry. All about that, about transcription, translation, how these processes take place within each type of cell, and if they take place in the cell. Another big part is right here in the back. So it goes over like immunology. It also talks about different microorganisms and the diseases that they cause within the human body, and which in different systems. So it's broken up by system. Like this one, sorry, this is about antimicrobial drugs, which I suggest that you look at because there was questions on there about that. There's sections over like diseases in the circulatory system, like this one, infectious diseases of the nervous system. So it goes over this kind of information. There's also some epidemiology in this book, and you do need to know that as well. You don't need to know a lot of stuff. You just need to be familiar with terms like pandemic versus epidemic, common epidemics that have happened in the past. Yeah. So about the test. So the test was like 125 questions. You had 150 minutes to answer those questions. It went by really fast. I still had like over an hour left when I was taking it. So some examples of the questions, they range from very general, like does a gram-positive cell wall have thick peptidoglycan or thin, or what's the counter stain for a gram stain, or what kind of stain would you use for a mycobacterium, or things like that. The different shapes of the bacterial cells, or information about how a virus attached, stuff like that. And then it also goes to a patient came in who had these symptoms. You took a urine sample and this was found in the urine, and they want to know what culprit is responsible for that. So based on the information they gave you, you have to identify whether it's a virus, a bacteria, or a fungus, or a yeast. Also, there was, again, a drug question in there, or maybe 2 drug questions, not many, but basically, like, you had to know if it was a bacterial condition, which of these drugs do you give it? And they gave you several kind, and I really based that answer. I didn't really know the answer because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read that chapter because I had a week and a half to study. But I used my life experiences. I knew when I was sick or my daughter got sick, this was the medicine they gave us from like a bacterial infection, or if I knew somebody that had like a fungal infection, this is the medicine that they gave them. So it was just kind of use your knowledge, use your experiences to help you answer some of these questions, because you really could. So that's that. Scoring. So there's three categories they break it down into. One is microorganism, 2 is immunology, and 3 is epidemiology. And so the way it goes is you get a score based on like how you did overall in that each section, and then you get an overall score. And then also with each score you get a ranking. So based on how you tested with everybody else that tested that day or within that time frame, you're ranked. And this is where it gets tricky, because you could pass your test, but if you did not rank, like my school requires that you rank in the top 50. If you did not rank in the top 50, even if you passed, you don't get to test out of the class. You have to take it again. Thank God I passed and I ranked in the top 50. So I don't suggest you doing what I did. I took a week and a half because I wanted to get it in before application season started. But I would say if you have a decent knowledge, mine's 10 years ago. If you have a decent knowledge, a good month, one good month to contribute should be enough. If you have like no knowledge, give yourself at least 2.5 months, maybe even 3. Like if you've never seen these terms, or if you just have no knowledge. But if you have some background, it's kind of easy. I mean, we all know hepatitis is related to the liver. Come on. Stuff like that. So those are kind of basic questions that, and they're in there. That's the good part. It's not a lot of heavy loaded information. It's gauged kind of fairly. So I just wanted to share that because I did not have any help trying to find information on how to study for this thing, what to expect, and things like that. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave some below. I'm so sorry this video is janky because I'm really tired, but I wanted to make it because I had a few people asking me about it. So I hope this helps. Again, if you have questions, just comment below. I'll do the best that I can with helping you guys. Again, this book and Vanco notes for microbiology on Audible. Download it, listen to it on your way to your work, wherever. You can listen to it wherever. It's like 11 hours total, and it's really easy. They also ask you questions, so they'll review you over a chapter, give you some information, and then you have 2 quizzes after that. In one part of the quiz he explains the answer. The other part of the quiz he does not explain the answer, but I mean, it's really good, and it's both cheap. Last point. I spent overall about $30 on materials to study for it. My test was also $30, and I saved about $500 because the class cost about $400 and the book cost an additional $100, almost $200 plus. So save yourself some money, study hard, and do well. Comment, like, subscribe, let me know. Bye.